story time with thee.
Hi there, friends. We're so happy you're here for story time, and Maxime and EE the elephant are ready to listen too. Today we have a story about a lonely old couple, too many cats to choose from, and how the quietest heart can be the wisest one. It is called Millions of Cats. Are you ready? Let's begin. Once, in a tiny white house beside a sunny hill, there lived a very old man and a very old woman. They had a neat garden, they had a warm fire, they had each other. But the rooms were very quiet. So quiet that the clock sounded like little footsteps. "I do wish we had a cat," the old woman said one evening. The old man set down his teacup and smiled. "Then I will go and find you one." Early the next morning, he put on his tall hat and tapped down the path. He walked over the first hill, then the second, then the third. Over that third hill, he stopped so suddenly that the birds flew up. Cats were everywhere. Cats in the grass, cats on the rocks, cats in tree branches, cats washing their faces in the sun. Hundreds of cats, thousands of cats, millions and billions and trillions of cats. The old man pointed at a fluffy white cat. "This is the prettiest cat," he said. Then he saw a striped cat with bright green eyes. "No, that one is prettier." Then he spotted a black cat, a ginger cat, a silver cat, and a gray cat with a feathery tail. "How can I choose just one?" the old man wondered. He squinted. He tilted his head. He tried again. But every cat looked special. Every cat looked lovely. Every cat seemed to say, "Pick me." At last he laughed and cried, "I will take them all." And so he did. Cats flowed after him like a furry river. Big cats, little cats, long cats, round cats, cats with patches, cats with stripes, cats with puffball tails, cats with silky ears. They padded over stones and filled the air with purrs and meows. Now, friends, can you imagine walking home with millions of cats behind you? By the time the old man reached the pond, the cats had lapped up every drop of water. By the time he crossed the meadow, they had nibbled every blade of grass. He heard slurp, slurp by the shore. He heard nibble, nibble in the field. When he climbed the last hill, the road behind him looked soft and rippled, because it was completely covered in cats. Still, he kept walking home, step by step, with his astonishing parade. The old woman looked out the window, and her knitting fell right into her lap. "Why, husband," she cried, "what have you brought?" "Only the cat you asked for," said the old man. Then he looked behind him. "Well, perhaps a few more than one." The cats filled the yard. They filled the fence. They filled the porch steps. They meowed from every corner. They twined around every flower pot. There was not even room left on the doorstep. The old woman looked at the empty pond, the chewed grass, and the ocean of whiskers. "We cannot keep millions of cats," she said. "We must choose just one." "But which one?" asked the old man. The old woman peered across the bobbing ears and twitching tails. Everywhere she looked, another cat was preening, stretching, or showing off its whiskers. "Let us keep the prettiest cat," she said at last. The old man nodded. That sounded sensible. But how do you pick the prettiest cat when every cat thinks it might be the one? The old woman clapped her hands for attention. "Dear cats," she called, "which of you is the prettiest?" For one tiny second, everything was still. Then a white cat lifted its chin. "I am!" A striped cat shouted, "No, I am!" An orange cat yowled, "I am the prettiest of all!" Then every cat began to brag. "I am prettier! I am fluffier! My tail is grander! My whiskers are finer!" Some puffed up like pillows. Some arched like question marks. Some spun in circles to show off their fur. The yard turned noisy and wiggly and wild. Do you think shouting the loudest will help anyone make a wise choice? The bragging turned into pushing. The pushing turned into chasing. The chasing swirled into a dusty, hissy, scratchy cloud. The old man grabbed the old woman's hand. "Inside," he said. And together they hurried into the house and shut the door. They waited. The yowling roared. Then it rumbled. Then it faded. At last, there was silence. The old woman opened the door just a crack. The old man peeked over her shoulder. Not a proud cat remained in the yard. Not one. But there, hidden in the tall grass by the step, sat one very small kitten. It was thin. Its fur was dusty. Its ears drooped a little. Its tail looked more like a string than a plume. It was not striped, or snowy, or splendid. It was the most ordinary, most scraggly, most homely kitten they had ever seen. "Did you not say you were the prettiest?" the old woman asked softly. The little kitten blinked. "Oh no," it said. "I am not pretty at all, so I kept quiet. I did not want to boast about something that was not true." The old woman knelt right down. The old man took off his hat. They looked at the little kitten. Then they looked at each other, and both of them smiled. "You are the very cat for us," they said. They carried the kitten inside, washed its dusty fur, wrapped it in a soft towel, and poured it a bowl of fresh milk. Day by day, the kitten grew stronger. Its eyes began to shine. Its whiskers stood up straight. Its soft coat grew smooth and bright. The old man brushed it by the fire. The old woman poured warm cream into a blue bowl. Because it was loved, it seemed lovelier every week. And before long, it truly was a pretty cat. Maybe even the prettiest cat of all. But it never bragged, not even once. And that's the story of millions of cats. Remember, friends, when everyone tries to be the loudest or the grandest, the quiet and honest choice is often the wisest one. Thanks for listening with Maxim and EE. See you next time, friends.